No! Don't open that door! They're going to get all of us killed!
Something's coming.
So today we're going to be talking about 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, I'm not really sure if this is a prequel, a sequel, or just another movie that takes place in the same universe as the original Cloverfield. But this film is definitely very different, and it was kept under wraps for so long. They actually just released the trailer this year, I believe in January. I went and saw this on opening night again. It was dead. I don't know if it's just where I live. Hopefully in other more populated areas, people are actually gonna go watch horror movies, because I don't think that's happening where I live. Now when you watch the trailer for this film, you don't really know what's happening. Like, I had no idea the storyline. I couldn't even guess, because at one point, she, being Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was amazing by the way, she's like chained up, so you're like, is she a captive? But then another time you're like, is she his daughter? Like, they're like hanging out in the common room. I don't really know what's happening. Didn't know who the guy was, not John Goodman, but the other one. Thought maybe it was her brother, this was a family. I don't really know. That was my guess going into it. But was I wrong? I didn't want to get overly excited, but it's really hard when you have amazing actors in a film, such as Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Goodman. John Goodman's one of my favorites. I love him. So that makes this film so different than the first one. For one, this one's not found footage style at all, which we know the first one is. I did hear, I think it was, who told me? My roommate told me, I don't remember, said that they cast B actors or not so well-known actors for found footage films because you can relate more to the characters. You can kind of picture them as real people, versus if you put a huge celebrity or a huge actor in a film, it's going to be kind of glaring at you that this is a famous person and not a real person. Because originally going into it, I'm like, well, this one's gonna be better. Hello, it has better actors in it. And it held true for me. I do think this one is better, just overall. I am gonna be talking about spoilers in this review, but I will warn you, but I have to talk about the ending and how much I liked of it and how much I didn't like of it, because there were definitely aspects I hated about this film. First, I just need to say something that's going to sound very strange coming from me. I loved the jump scares in this film. I know. They were so well done. This is how you do jump scares, people. Like, this movie was perfect with the jump scares. They followed through. They were actually scary things. It's actually realistic. It wasn't like a jump scare of a bird hitting a window or something stupid. It was like a car accident where it does happen spur of the moment like that. And when you're hit by something, it is jarring. It is like that. So I loved the jump scares in this movie. I also loved the first 3/4 of this film. I hated the ending, and I'll tell you why later when I get into spoilers. I did not like it. They crammed way too much plot into the ending there. First 3/4 of the film, I love that you were questioning everything. You didn't know what to believe. If you want me to clarify a few things from the trailer, basically John Goodman's character is this farmer, and he rescues this girl, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who, I don't know why I keep using her full name. She got in an accident in the beginning, and that's one of the jump scares that I liked. It was very realistic. He rescued her from the accident and brought her back to his shelter, which was underneath his farmhouse. There was another guy there too, but that plot you don't really need to know for the film. He tells her there's been a huge attack and that everyone is dead, and she doesn't really believe it, which I liked that whole storyline because she very accurately portrayed how a real person would react to that kind of information. I feel like some movies would go the route of, oh really, oh my god, thank you so much for saving me, but she was like, can I use your phone? Like, I need to call someone. And that's pretty much all the plot I can give without giving away some of the storyline. But it does kind of go back and forth between, do you believe the man or do you not? Because there's proof here, but then it's like, it could be that. Is he lying? I don't know. So now I'm gonna get into more of the plot as we go in, and it's gonna be kind of spoilery, and then I will talk about the ending, which will spoil it. So if you don't want to know what happens, tune out now, but do know I really recommend this film and seeing it in theaters. I think the theater experience is so worth it. So as I said a second ago, there was proof that there was an attack and that the air was contaminated, because that was what he kept saying, like, you cannot go outside. Well, she gets the keys from him through a really dramatic scene. She goes to the door, she gets through one door, there's two. She gets to the second door, she's starting to unlock it, then all of a sudden a woman comes up to the window and her skin is like peeling and stuff. So you're like, oh my god, the air really is contaminated. Like, he was telling the truth. So then they become friends. Like, she believes him now, and so they're all kind of like chilling around, and that's what you see in the trailer where they're like playing the music from the jukebox and like reading magazines and things like that. Side story, they find out that he actually murdered a younger girl that went missing in the town. So they're trying to devise a plan to get out of the shelter. So she's making like a air protective suit, you know, like one of those hazmat suits, I guess. He ends up finding some of the supplies and dropping them in a barrel of acid, and it's like, why do you have a barrel of acid? I don't, okay. That scene was so dramatic. My jaw would not close for a good 2 minutes. Like, oh my god, it was so sad. I started to get teary-eyed. I was just like, okay, Kat. The guy takes blame for everything, and John Goodman's character shoots him in the face. And it was just out of nowhere, and I was so shocked because I was so emotionally invested in this storyline. Like, I got really into it. The character development was absolutely amazing. It was perfect. What I think this movie needed was another 30 minutes because they worked so hard for 3/4 of the film. No aliens, by the way, in the first 3/4 of the film, and I kept thinking, this is Cloverfield, there's gonna be aliens, how are they gonna work this in? Because you find out he's actually lying about the air, and he's lying that that woman, I assume that he did that to the woman, I don't know. So she finally escapes, and then the alien thing starts happening, and that's when it gets bad, in my opinion. It gets a little cheesy, too unrealistic, when the whole beginning of the film and middle was realistic. The characters were amazing, and then it turned into a cheesy alien film and more sci-fi than horror, which I was not a fan of. The aliens in the first Cloverfield were more horrifying, and then the aliens in this one were more sci-fi. These almost resembled the alien in Aliens, the series. So I wasn't a fan of the creatures. They were very different, and I think they need a third film, to be honest, to really connect these two, if any, and they left this ending open-ended. We know they'll probably do a third one, which in this series, towards the end, I was like, I kind of hope that they don't, but they need to, because we need to know, like, this is obviously the same universe, like, we're living in here. Same kind of things that are happening, but they're different creatures, which realistically, you would obviously have a lot of different species of aliens. But things about the ending were just too convenient. How she survived is dumb. And yeah, it was just, they cram-packed all the alien stuff into the last 1/4 of the film, and I did not enjoy it. It felt rushed, and just the things that were happening were like, okay, that would never happen, okay. But I would watch this over and over and over again just for the first 3/4 of the film. When I was in it, I was like, I don't want this to end, and I was just so curious of what was happening. I just love John Goodman, and like, he's an incredible actor, and this character that he was in was made for him. Like, it was so good. So definitely go see it because it was incredible overall. I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10. Like, I really, really loved this film. If it weren't for the ending, but I can forgive all that. I can forgive the alienness. They had to put aliens in it because it's Cloverfield. If you've seen it, let me know down below what you thought of it, and if you agree with me or disagree with me about the ending and the aliens, if you like them or not. And I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Oh God.
Please make it stop.